Sri Mahaganapatai namah Saraswatyai namah Om Shri Gurubhyo namah Paradevatayai namah Om Sri Ramachandraya namah Sadguru Saishwarayai namah Om Sairam Om Asahayasahayaya namah. Let us hear an introduction to Sri Sai SATCHARITAM, written in Malayalam by N.Somashekaran, translated by Sulini.V.Nair. This is the Avatar Charitra, the advent of the Avatar, Sri Sai Baba.
There is a feature that is unique to Bharat. Whenever we wish to know the truth about a matter, we always look to the sages, Vedas, Itihasas and Puranas. While the Western mind looks to modern physical sciences and inventions for authoritative knowledge on anything, the Indian mind seeks it in the palm leaves of yore. It knows without a shred of doubt that they can never be wrong. Every line therein is the experience of great renunciate sages across centuries. Thus, a mistake is impossible. Shirdi Sai and Parthi Sai too are not different in this regard. The contemporary world looks to the ancient and modern for authority regarding these avatars. Bhagavan Sri Sai Baba once revealed a Puranic secret regarding the two. Here is the story. Once, Bharadwaja Maharishi had a wish. He wanted to learn and assimilate all the Vedas, but he was stupefied at their limitless vastness. He knew that one lifetime would not be enough to learn all of them. He contemplated deeply and found that the only solution was to increase his lifespan. He did not lose any more time and began severe austerities to please Indra. When Indra appeared before him, the Maharishi asked for a boon. Be pleased to grant me 100 more years of life. Indra readily agreed. Bharadwaja started studying the Vedas. He did not realize the passage of time. As he neared the end of the lifespan granted by Indra, he realized that there was much more of the Vedas still to be learnt. Once again, he performed severe austerities and gained 100 more years lifespan from Indra. Yet, he was unable to finish studying the Vedas. A third time, he performed tapas. This time, Indra appeared and said, "O great sage, the knowledge of the Vedas that you have acquired in these 300 years is equal to 3 mere handfuls of sand from the seashore. It is impossible to learn all the Vedas. Give up this desire. I will tell you another idea. Perform a yaga as per my instructions. Through it, you will achieve the same result as that of learning all the Vedas." Bharadwaja decided to take Indra's advice, but he wished that Devi Sri Mahaparvati too should be present at the yaga. So he set off for Kailasha to invite her. When he reached Kailasha, he saw a beautiful sight. Bhagavan Shiva and Devi Parvati were dancing the Ananda Nritta, the dance of spiritual delight. Bharadwaja was plunged in bliss at an unearthly, rare sight of the dance of the divine parents of the universe. Watching this, he remained oblivious to the passage of time. 8 days went by. Suddenly, as Devi was dancing, her eyes fell on Bharadwaja. Devi smiled at him and continued to dance. Bharadwaja decided to take leave when he saw that Devi was not paying attention to him. That was when he realized a shocking fact. He was unable to move. The left side of his body had gone numb in Kailasha's bitter cold. As he began to collapse, Bhagavan Shiva rushed and held him. Devi spoke and gave her blessings. O great sage, your desire will be fulfilled. The yaga will take place with all auspiciousness. Bharadwaja was unable to speak. Bhagavan took some water from his water pot and sprinkled it on the sage's body, where it had gone numb. Warmth and life tingled back into his body. A pleased Bhagavan Shiva said to the elated sage, "We bless your yaga. We will also take birth in the Bharadwaja lineage thrice as Shiva Swarupa, Shiva Shakti Swarupa and Shakti Swarupa." This story and Bhagavan's words spoken in the Treta Yuga found fruition in the Kali Yuga. Born to unknown parents in Patri and renowned as Sai Baba of Shirdi, the Shiva Swarupa blessed the world. Only an avatar can understand and explain another avatar. It is impossible to completely recount the story of an avatar. How is it possible to explain Purnata, perfect wholeness, in mere words? The biography of Paripurna Avatar that Shirdi Sai was is also only incompletely available to the world. The incompleteness is mostly visible in the story of his childhood. Who was Shirdi Sai? Where did he come from? Who were his parents? Which lineage did he belong to? What was his clan? Who was his guru? Such questions have only unclear answers. Some have no answers at all. Such was the story in Shirdi Sai's time. With the advent of Bhagavan Baba of Parthi, the story changed. He revealed many details that were kept secret in his earlier avatar. It was on the 14th of January 1974 that this great Leela took place. It was dusk. Bhagavan was in Whitefield. Students and teachers had gathered around him. Bhagavan suddenly said, "Does anyone have anything to ask me? Any doubt that you have, you may ask." V.K. Gokak was among those present there. He became the instrument. He asked, "Swami, was Venkusa the guru of Shirdi Sainath?" Bhagavan did not answer the question in just one word. Instead, he recounted the entire story of his previous incarnation for the good of the world. He was throwing light on a secret that had remained unrevealed for about a century. Swami told the story yet another time during one of his lectures. Patri was a village close to the city of Manmad in Maharashtra. The sacred river Godavari flowed through this village. Countless sadhaks had been nurtured along its hallowed banks. A devout Brahmin couple, Ganga Bhave and Devagiri Amma, lived on the banks of the Godavari. Ganga Bhave's Ishta Devata was Sri Parameshwara and Devagiri Amma's was Devi Parvati. However, they were tormented by the sorrow of childlessness. Devagiri Amma offered her sorrowful heart in prayer to the Mother of the Universe. Ganga Bhave tried hard to find solace in the thought that this was a result of his actions from past lives. One night, there was a heavy storm. The waves rose sky high. Suddenly, Ganga Bhave started to panic about whether his boat, which was safely pulled onto the shore, would be swept into the waters by the gale and rough waves. He informed Devagiri Amma and walked towards the river bank, disregarding the gale and lashing storm. Devagiri Amma bolted the doors and, chanting the divine name, waited at home alone in the darkness. After a while, she heard an unfamiliar voice call out. She opened the door to find a majestic-looking elderly man who seemed like he was seeking shelter from the storm. The compassionate Devagiri Amma welcomed him to rest on their veranda. She also gave him hot food. She felt that he wished to spend the night there. How could she turn him out in the storm? She allowed him to sleep on the veranda and went inside, shutting the door. After a while, she heard a knock and opened the door. The guest had not slept. "What is the matter?" Devagiri Amma asked politely. "I am unable to sleep. If only somebody could massage my legs, he said. Devagiri Amma was dumbfounded. It was dark, it was storming, and she was alone at home, and the guest was asking for something like this. But then, it was only one's dharma to look after the guest well and fulfill his wishes. What was she to do? Devagiri Amma stepped out. She walked to a nearby house in the village thinking she would fetch someone from there to massage the guest's legs. But the house was empty. She returned home, afraid and torn as to what the right course of action was. Would she sin by not fulfilling a guest's wish? Yet, how could she massage a stranger's legs? Her helplessness found expression in anguished prayer. O Divine Mother, Devi Mahamaya, please protect me, she prayed. That very moment, a knock was heard at the back door of the house. Devagiri Amma rushed to open it to find a beautiful lady. With a smile, she asked Devagiri Amma, I heard you had come looking for me. May I know why? Devagiri Amma poured her heart out to her. Is that all? Please take me to where your guest is seated. I will do the needful, she said. Devagiri Amma led her to the elderly guest. After a while, she again heard a knock. Thinking that the lady must be ready to take leave after attending to the guest, Devagiri Amma opened the door. To her utter disbelief, she saw Bhagavan Shiva and Devi Parvati, their eyes overflowing with love, gazing at her, holding the Abhaya Hasta. Tears flowed from Devagiri Amma's eyes. She joined her trembling hands in salutation and with a choked throat said, Devi, the Divine Mother spoke compassionately. Do not be sad. All your sorrows are about to end. You will be a mother to 2 children. Then Bhagavan said, I will myself be born as your 3rd son. Devagiri Amma stood stupefied, forgetting the surroundings at this heavenly downpour of grace. After securing the boats, Ganga Bhave returned home to find his wife standing motionless, tears streaming down her cheeks, hands joined in salutation, an unearthly glow lighting up her face. He had to shake her to bring her back to normal state of awareness. She recounted the tale of the wondrous divine drama to her husband. Ganga Bhave listened to it, unmoved. It had been a stormy night. Perhaps she felt terrified. She was alone at home now. Perhaps the story was some trick played by her anxious mind, he thought. She seemed very upset. So he told her, You seem upset. You take rest. Everything will be all right by morning. Devagiri Amma obeyed. After some time, Devagiri Amma became pregnant. Ganga Bhave was astounded. The lady who had been barren until now was going to become a mother. Gradually, Ganga Bhave came to realize that the story related by his wife that stormy night was very bit true. With time, by the grace of the Divine Mother, Devagiri Amma became a mother to 2 children. A great Leela would be enacted next. Bhagavan Shiva, the Lord of Kailasha, would incarnate on the banks of Godavari to redeem the world. A transformation was seen in the chosen parents. Devagiri Amma became pregnant a 3rd time, bearing the Shiva element of cosmic consciousness in her womb. Devagiri Amma's face shone with unearthly radiance. Ganga Bhave grew increasingly dispassionate. Nothing can tempt or delude one who is firmly convinced of the transience and insignificance of worldly life and pursuits. I must attain the ultimate purpose of human birth. I have no more time to waste. Ganga Bhave decided. I am renouncing this worldly life. I want to find God. I wish to realize God. I am taking leave of you, said Ganga Bhave to the bewildered Devagiri Amma. Mahadev has himself assured us that he would be born as our son. Why then leave in search of God? Ganga Bhave said, Look, Mahadev will come only in disguise, taking on a human form. I cannot be contented with that. I want to know God and realize Him as nothing less than the supreme consciousness. So I must leave. Devagiri Amma turned pale. On the one hand, there were 2 small children to bring up. Moreover, she was pregnant. On the other hand was her husband. She felt torn between her duties as a mother and wife. Finally, her devotion to her husband won. She left her 2 small children in the care of her mother and decided to follow her husband. They reached a forest. Devagiri Amma started experiencing labor pains there. Yet, Ganga Bhave was determined to continue his journey. Devagiri Amma was nonplussed. How will I journey in this condition? The baby can be born at any moment. Who do I have in this dense forest to help me? Ganga Bhave, who was at the pinnacle of dispassion, had an answer to this. The only true help for man was not man, but God Himself. No other help can truly save anyone. Ganga Bhave did not doubt this. He prepared to continue his journey, leaving Devagiri Amma in the hands of the divine. The compassionate Bhagavan did not delay further. Devagiri Amma delivered the divine child. He lay beneath the spreading foliage of the banyan tree, gurgling and kicking his little legs. The moment of becoming a mother is one of indescribable joy. And here it was Bhagavan himself that was born. Devagiri Amma ran her hands over the baby's soft skin. She prepared a bed of banyan leaves, laid the baby on it, and covered him with tender leaves. Then she slowly stepped behind and away from the child. With that, the Blessed Mother, who had birthed Bhagavan himself, completed her dharma of motherhood. With tear-filled eyes, she followed her husband, unmindful of her own fatigue. This is indeed the duty of a virtuous wife, to be with her husband all the days of her life. Devagiri Amma could not deviate the slightest from her dharma as a wife and followed in her husband's footsteps. We do not know anything more about Ganga Bhave or Devagiri Amma. After all, it was for the unfolding of another sacred story that Devagiri Amma had left her child in the care of the Supreme. It is doubtless that Bhagavan himself will look after what is given to his care. It was exactly at this time that a Muslim man accompanied by his wife came that way in a horse cart. His wife felt like relieving herself and he stopped the cart under a tree. The baby that was laid on the bed of banyan trees started wailing loudly. The lady looked around in wonder, hearing the cries of a baby in the dense forest. She found the child and knew immediately that it was a newborn. She scooped the infant in her arms and rushed to her husband. They waited long in the hope that the child's mother would come to him, but to no avail. Finally, they decided that the child was the gift of God to fulfill their childless life with the joys of parenthood. How else would they find an abandoned infant, unharmed, in a dense forest? They named the child Babu. Babu grew up in their care. When the foster father died, Babu's care fell wholly on the foster mother. His mother often felt confused by the child's ways. Yet, somehow, she never found the courage to censure him. His friends too failed to understand him. He would sit in the mosque and worship the Shivalinga. He would sit in a temple and read the Quran. Such was Babu. Such behavior was beyond the capacity of ordinary people to accept. They complained to his foster mother. Some scolded him. Some even threatened the child. People of both communities were equally involved in this matter. How was the mother to enlighten the child about this? She forgot everything as soon as she saw his cherubic face and bewitching smile. Her consciousness would whisper to her that it was foolishness to talk of the matter. She grew increasingly anxious about how to lead Babu along the right path. This is what we often try to do. We attempt to lead Bhagavan along the right path, when he has come to show us the path. But Bhagavan's resolve is firm and unwavering. This was exactly what happened. The time had come to proclaim the purpose of Bhagavan's advent before the world. The scene was now set. One day, Babu was playing marbles with his friends. He won the game. His opponent did not have a single marble left. However, he was not willing to give up so easily. His friend ran home and brought the salagrama that was worshipped and started playing with it. Babu won that game too and acquired the salagrama. Not only that, but as soon as he got it in his hands, he swallowed it as well. Seeing this, the other children were aghast. A Muslim boy had swallowed the sacred salagrama. What a grave sin! In a moment, the news spread all around. The owners of the salagrama came rushing to the spot, greatly agitated. Babu stood with an innocent smile. "Return our salagrama right away!" The villagers roared. Babu remained calm. Unable to tolerate his lack of reaction, they shouted, "Open your mouth! Let us see!" Slowly, Babu opened his mouth and they looked inside. Suddenly, their faces turned pale. Tongues became dry and no voice came from their throats. They witnessed all the worlds and the 10 avatars in his mouth. Drained of vigor, they sat down holding their heads in their hands. Those deluded by Maya simply cannot assimilate visions that lie beyond it. Babu spoke calmly. "Mother, the salagrama is in your shrine room itself. Please go and check." The lady went back silently and was dumbfounded to see the salagrama where it had always been. She was convinced that Babu was no ordinary boy. She returned to where he stood and prostrated at his feet. Days went by. Complaints regarding Babu kept reaching his foster mother's ears, and in no small measure, she understood that Babu was beyond her control. She could not continue to live in the village, annoying the villagers. It was amidst this trying situation that she suddenly thought of a noble sannyasi who lived in a place called Shelu. His name was Venkusa. He was a pure soul. Everyone had a great opinion about his ashram as well. He cared for orphaned children without caste or religious differences. Babu's foster mother felt that this would be a good and safe environment for Babu to grow up. They set out the very next day. Babu was happy throughout the entire journey. When they reached the ashram, Babu's foster mother was surprised to see the noble Venkusa waiting for them. When Babu walked towards him, the sannyasi's body trembled. Tears flowed from his eyes. He struggled to control the wave of bliss that spontaneously rose in his heart. With great devotion, he welcomed Babu and took him to the ashram. His foster mother was stunned to witness this scene. "Everywhere my son goes, the unexpected happens," she thought in awe. Meanwhile, Venkusa was constantly thinking of a dream darshan he had the previous night. In the dream, Bhagavan Shiva stood near him and said compassionately, "The result of your penance is about to bear fruit. Tomorrow at 10 in the morning, I will come to your ashram." Venkusa woke and was unable to sleep after that. How was it possible to sleep anymore? Shri Parameshwara was about to grant him darshan at 10 in the morning. It was exactly at 10 in the morning that Babu and his foster mother reached the ashram. Venkusa noticed the deep calm on the boy's countenance. His eyes were as though absorbed in meditation. It was not difficult for him to understand who the boy was. He did not doubt the boy's identity. Relieved that her son had reached a safe place, his foster mother returned, content. Days passed. The Guru did not have Guru Bhava towards his new disciple. The love and respect Venkusa had for Babu was ineffable. Its natural outcome was seen in the ashram. The other disciples felt uneasy. Jealousy raised its hood in their minds. Why does the Guru love him so much? What is so unique about him? What is it that he has and we do not have? Where else do you find a guru that serves his disciple? Finally, they concluded that Babu had to somehow be subdued, or he would ruin the Gurukula and render all of them orphans. They waited for a suitable opportunity, and soon enough the opportunity came along. One day, Venkosa instructed Babu to pluck some bilva leaves. Babu went to the garden to do so. The other boys saw Babu walk alone into the garden in the thick undergrowth, and deciding that this was the apt time, silently closed in on him. Suddenly, they fell upon him with fists and sticks. Babu silently endured the attack without reacting. One boy picked up a brick and hurled it at Babu. It hit him on the forehead and he started to bleed. Worried that Babu might get killed if they tormented him further, the boys quickly retreated. Babu got up after a while. Picking up the blood-stained brick, blood streaming down his face, he walked back to the ashram. Venkosa was shocked to see the sight. He ran to Babu and took the brick from his hands, drenching it with tears. Perhaps the Guru was washing off the sins of his other disciples with his anguished tears. Venkosa tore off a bit of his upper cloth and bandaged Babu's bleeding forehead. Thereafter, Venkosa constantly held the blood-stained brick, treasuring it like a sacred Shivalinga. Later, Shirdi Sai Baba too constantly kept this brick with him in memory of the Guru. Meanwhile, Babu took leave of Venkosa and later he reached Shirdi. It is only the story from this point on that is known to the people of Shirdi. It was a divine resolve that the story until that point should remain secret. Even today, the world only knows this much as was revealed by Bhagavan Sri Sai Baba.